Howdy, y'all. Today's March, what is it, the 25th? It's Wednesday. Today's the day I go to my favorite thrift store to check out and to try to find products. It's my favorite one because it's local. Two, the people in there are super nice. And three, their prices are pretty reasonable. So I'm always excited to check them out. I like to get there when they open because they do have limited supply because they are a local place and they only get local donations by and large. They're not like Goodwill where they get products from all over the country or all over the county or however they do it. But they get it from local people. So they're a little bit more limited in supply, but they're not open Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that they usually restock in those days, and Wednesday, Thursday is when they're open, and they're open on Saturday. So anyways, it's really good there to try to get there on Wednesday mornings when they first open up, because that's when you're more likely to find the newer products that they were able to get that week, get donated that week. So I'm going to head that way, and I'm going to show you what I find in there, and then I'll go over anything that I'm able to purchase. I've only got $45 left for this month to spend on sourcing, so I have to keep that in mind. And I'm hoping I do have a credit there, but I'm still including the credit because I have a $30 credit there, but I already spent the money, and so it's the same idea as spending it anyway. So I'm going to use that credit, but I'm going to count it as spending money. So anyways, so I think it's $30. So let's hope I can find some good products, keep that sourcing number as small as possible, and let's see what happens. Let's do this. I'm heading over to the electronics aisle where I always seem to go to first. Not sure why I do that, because I usually end up finding more things in the other parts of the store, but this is just, I'm a creature of habit, I guess. Looking for anything like cameras, VHS, DVD recorders, anything like that. I see this old vintage telephone. I see it's $2. I don't even comp it out, I don't think. I just tell myself, hey, look, for $2, you got to be able to make some profit off of that. So I throw that in the bag. It's got the real long cord with it. And yeah, I figure, man, somebody's going to want that. It's got the wood grain on the front of it, like around the keypad. So it's got to be worth something. You'd be stupid not to grab that. No. Anyways, and I'm just looking over at appliances. Don't really see anything that jumps out at me. Go to the other side of this aisle. You got to really search around here because stuff gets put behind other things, and because these shelves are so deep, I think they're either volunteers or even if they get paid, they're working there and they're just trying to find empty spots to put products. So often those empty spots are behind things. And I see that VHS. This is something I saw last week when I was out. It is a green 8, and green is full price. I think it goes for about $35. So at $8, it's a worth it for a flip if it works. And I don't know if it works. It has no remote. So I think I'm going to wait till it's $4. Now I'm over at the toys. Over here, this aisle is kind of like mismatch on one side, and the other side's like action cars, those kind of things, maybe more, masculine related type toys, I guess you'd say. Cars, trucks, building blocks, stuff like that. Just looking for anything I haven't seen before, or something that looks like it might be worth flipping. Those are some board games down there, and like I said, on the right side there is kind of mismatch. Yeah, you get the idea. It's just mainly like remote control cars and Tonkas and that stuff like that over on there on the right side. I'm going to make my way over here to the other aisle, which is a little more feminine related, pink colors and stuff like that, and a little younger, like baby toys and stuff like that. Just trying to find anything again that like looks like I might be able to flip it. I see this Paw Patrol jet, I guess, and it looks like it's in pretty good condition. It is missing the figurine at the top, but it does work. It's, you know, doing little flips there. And I think that I have a figurine that I can add to that in the sale. I'd like to just pick up, just so you know, because I've been talking about like trying to 10x my money here. Toys, if they're not marked, they're very reasonable. A lot of times, what will end up happening is if you can bundle up a group of toys, they'll sell them to you for a couple of bucks. So $2 or $3, you know, 4 or 5 at the most, depends on how many you have. So I look at that Buzz Lightyear and I put him back. I never even comped him, so I don't know if he's worth something. Let me know. I grabbed this old vintage Bob the Builder. Again, I figure I'm just going to bundle him up together. He looks old, so I throw him in the bag. Don't even really do any comps on him. Now I find a bag of like miscellaneous toys. Now these characters all kind of look like they go together. I don't know what they are, but because they are all the same character, or like in the same genre of characters, I guess you'd say, I go ahead and grab them because again, I'm just going to bundle these all together. So I figured it might be worth it. Or I'll just save them. Who knows? Who knows? Now here I'm looking over here at the floats they got on the end cap there. Some of those old floats, like if you can find like 90s, 2000s old pool floats and beach floats and stuff, some of those things go for ridiculous amounts of money, like $50 for something that sold for $2. I don't get it. Maybe you guys know why people pay that for those ones, and maybe you can leave me a comment and let me know why they do that. But it blows my mind that somebody would buy a Dollar General float from 2000 and pay $50 for it. But okay. Anyways, there's seasonal stuff to the left. I'm over here on this aisle. This is kind of their sports aisle. Right now it's baseball season, or baseball season is starting to pick up. And any of the outdoor type sports stuff, golf, that kind of thing. So I'm looking here just to see if there's anything I can find that you know, might have some value, something like baseball related. I've looked at those bats before, and I don't think there's any ones worth anything. I see this I hadn't seen before. Looks like a pretty new T-ball, probably like a kid wanted to play T-ball, either outgrew it or didn't like playing T-ball, he'd rather play video games. And so they donated it, and you know, some of these, you know, if you can get them cheap enough, you know, if you pay a buck or two or something like that, and you can sell them for even $15, that's you know, a 15x flip. So I will look into those, even these little T-ball ones for 15, you know, $1 to $15 if you can find them for that price. So I want to do you know, when you just take a photo with eBay, it'll throw everything in there. You don't know exactly which glove you're looking at, so sometimes you actually have to whittle down a little bit and put the model in and the brand in. And I look at these, and I'm seeing most of these are new or going for like $15 to $19. So while that one looked new, I just throw it back because I don't think it's worth fooling with. Now over here at the plushies, I see plushies here are like, I think 50 cents for the small ones, $1 for the big ones. But again, a lot of times if I have some toys and I have some plush, they just will group them together and just give me one price. So I like to kind of peruse, just see if there's anything new in there, something a little bit more original than the everyday stuff, the Squishmallows, that kind of thing. Just looking for something maybe older or a little bit more unique. I see that Shamrock horse there, and it has a Wells Fargo scarf. So I guess it's something that maybe they gave when you opened up an account or something with them. I'm not sure. Some kind of you know, promotional line, I'm imagining. It is new, probably just set on a shelf or like in the banker's office or something like that. But what made me look at it, want to do some research on it, was I was looking at that. It looks like the Mexican flag or a Mexican emblem. The colors are Mexican related, or at least to me, they look Mexican related. And so I'm trying to dig in and see if maybe there's any value in that. And I guess the numbers are all over. It is new, I guess, but then again, you know, I haven't really looked it over to know if it's new or not. And in hindsight, looking at this video, I probably should have grabbed that guy because, again, these toys and these plushes will inevitably get bundled together. So a lot of times I end up paying like essentially like a quarter for each one of these toys and each one of these plushes. So even if I only made $10, I still would have made a profit, a pretty good profit off that quarter. So I should have probably thrown this guy in my bag. Um, I don't really know why I decided against it. In hindsight, I think, man, I should have just grabbed it. There's no point in not grabbing it because it did sell. It might have taken a while to sell, but at a quarter or 50 cents, I would have been able to make $5 or $6 off of it. I'm trying to get better products, and I think maybe that's what I was thinking, and that's why I didn't grab it. But then again, I grab other things that I only gonna make I'm gonna make $10 off of. I look at that. I think it's Barney or Betty Bop or something like that, and I think I see that $2 sold comp, and I think, no, I'm not grabbing that. But the other ones are like 15, $16. So again, that was probably an auction that it went for $2, and so I should have probably grabbed that. Whatever, not Elmo, but Barney, friend of Barney's girlfriend, whatever. And now I go over to shoes and checking those out. Shoes here are $3.75. Boots are $7. They have these rollerblades, these K2s. They look brand new. I mean, they have a little bit of looks like shelf wear on them, but the wheels are in great shape. Don't look like they've ever been on the concrete. There's no scuffs. Just basically dirt. A little dust here and there. There's no wear on the inside of the shoes. They're women's sevens. So, women's size seven is not a bad size. It's kind of on the smaller size, but it's still, due to the condition of these and being $3.75. I really don't know why these weren't over in the sports area and these were over in the shoe area. Maybe somebody picked them up and they just put them back on the shelf over here. But I decide, some of these rollerblades are worth something and some are just, Walmart cheapies. So I want to do the comps on these. And so I look them up and I do some, I want to see what sold, what they're selling for actually, not just what people have them listed for. And those aren't exact same brand, but those are 42. I see some 44s, some 49s, some 35s, and stuff like the 80. You see 85. I'm sure there's different model, and these are probably more on the lower end of the model line, but they are selling for decent money, especially considering that they're only $3.75. And now I'm just checking to see, how many are out there. What's the sell-through rate on these? Because I didn't look them up by model number, so I'm just going off the photo. And most of what I'm seeing are not this exact brand, and they're either very high in asking price, or, like I said, they're just they're not even related to it. So the only couple I saw that were close to this model brand were going for in the 40s. So I feel pretty safe picking these up due to their price and their condition. So I spent $7.25 in there today. I got some reasonably good things in there, so I'm hoping that I can flip those. I'm trying to stick to my less than $20 10x flip kind of thing. And then obviously if it's more than that, it's kind of hit or miss. But I'm trying to source better products. If you saw my last video, my weekly video, I'm trying this week and going forward to source better products. So I'm thinking I might have, I pretty much stayed to that, I believe. And hopefully I'll roll into those profits. Let's keep this rolling. You see what I did there? You see what I did there? Anyway, I'm going to show you a little more up close of what I was able to source, go over what I paid for them again, and try to get a better idea of what I'm going to end up listing. Normally in these videos, I will end up putting like somewhere in here what I ended up listing these for, but I want to show you kind of a closer look at this because I know it's hard when I stick it up like this. And to do that, I got this really cool, some would say cool, most would say nerdy type thing, but I think it'll give us, let me use both hands to kind of show you what I was able to find. So I'm going to do that now. All right, let's start with the rolling. Here we go. These are K2. If you look at them, I mean, the wheels, everything about them looks like they were never worn. I mean, they might have been worn and tested or something, maybe inside. I don't see anywhere on the wheels. They are a women's, I think the W means women's, size 7. I looked these up, and I'm thinking that they go for about $45, somewhere in that range. I paid $3.75 for them. So definitely think these will help me roll into the profits. The next most expensive thing I bought was this old vintage telephone. It was $2. I see these going from 20 plus. I think with the wood grain, I might be able to ask. I'm going to probably put it out there for 29, take offers down to about 22, something like that on that. So again, it's got my 10X number here, got my 10X number here that I'm shooting for. Over here, this whole lot of toys here. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 plush, this old Bob the Builder thing, not this. These toys in the bag. I know that these, I think, are Fisher Price or Little Tykes or something like that. Anyways, and then this is a Paw Patrol. It's rolling. You see that? It's rolling. So we're keeping the rolling theme. Anyways, all of these toys in this section right here, I paid $1.50 for. So that's kind of why you'll see sometimes I will kind of go out on a limb with toys, because when you can get them for that, it almost, for $1.50, all I have to do is make 15 to make 10x my money. So I will still do these kind of things, even though they're not high profit things. They still are money, and there's still not a lot in them, and there's a potential for a good value. And then I paid 50 cents for this Costa. It is a little worn here, but you know, I paid 50 cents for it. So if I make $5, I still got my 10x. So that's kind of where I'm at with all these. So there you get an idea of what I was able to find. Again, I have $7.75 into everything I found today. So I didn't really hit my $45 cap for the week. I mean, I hit it, but what I mean is I didn't hit it hard. I hit it slightly. So it still gives me some wiggle room for the rest of the week. I'm going to probably hold out to focus on Friday and Saturday garage sales, because that's where I believe I'll get the best bang for my buck when it comes to spending that last little bit for the end of the month. And I hope you stay tuned and find out if I'm able to do it.